Fire, what you saying?
Yes, fire key, give thanks to life as usual, you know?
A serious thing. We are here again, Baldhead and the Dread podcast, reminding the people, make sure you support the brethren. Autarchii new EP, Disrupting the Status Quo, available on all streaming platforms, linked there in the description. Also, make sure you get the new Marcus Garvey shirt there from Conscious T. Link is there also. Limited amount, first come, first serve. Fire, what we're reasoning about today?
Yeah, we're talking about the great Ravi Shakespeare and also the elders them, and even in regards to the health of the elders them too. And the thought process of the elders them. So it's a couple like a whole heap of thing combined still, you know, in regard as it relates to the elders and the roots reggae music.
And before we start, I just want to make clear that all right, when musicians die, it is highlighted because they're a smaller number of the population. So just with basic mathematics, when they do have a death, it seems like more translated to regular population, right? But still, it is very high. Reggae, we don't have too much the suicide vibration like other areas. We do have murders, but most of it is health. And before we speak about individual health practices, I just want to mention touring and studio life. I just feel that it's just a wear and tear on the body. I remember the first time I saw or I went on a tour bus. Yeah, first time I went on the tour bus, I forgot who it was for. I think it was like for Jay Boog or something. It was either Jay Boog or Stephen Marley, the band's tour bus. And like, I was just shocked to see how people was living, yeah. Because you know when you see highlights of tours, you know it's such it's so glamorized, it's so fun. You're going from city to city doing all this. And if ain't nothing fun about that. That's a real grind. And just the sleeping arrangements, like people was really tucked into some little. I remember one Alien video where they had one Alien movie where they had these little cubicles that people were sleeping in. And these people driving across the country sleeping in a little cubicle, yeah. God knows, you know, I'm a man don't like noise, so I would struggle with it because I can't be there with a lot of noise and talking. That's not gonna work first to start with. You know, so it's like that grind, the late nights with the studio, the weird schedule of performing. You know, the up and down of the adrenaline. I just feel it's just unhealthy and it's destructive to the body year after year after year. And I want to say one more thing before I say something, right? What you want to call it? The inconsistency of income in the entertainment industry also is a big stressor that mash people up. And a lot of artists won't share it publicly, but a lot of people really suffer in regards to anxiety and depression because it's a roller coaster. You're the top of the chart this week. For the next, everybody cussing you where you at, your family cussing you, your local people cussing you, you're a flop, you trash. Then something come again, and even the money is inconsistent, and that creates a problem in the household. We have a good reason with Donovan Germain where he brings it up in regards to the importance of having a good woman because the money is not consistent. You may have months where everything coming in, and you gotta have months or years where nothing not coming in. And who's gonna deal with you through those ups and downs, you know?
Yeah, I fox that. It's not a easy road because when they say many people see it and it just look cool, but a whole heap of work and even myself too personally, I go up on the road and I tell you say it's not a way I have to sleep in the car and I make sure so this happen and that happen and we have to reach certain things by that time. Once you finish this, you have a next schedule where you need to go to and you only have a 4-hour gap and the 4-hour gap then you're not even get enough sleep. So it's a whole journey to, and as I say, stress is a silent murderer, and as them done telling the same reggae music. But whole heap of people don't really overstand that. So you see, when them look at musician in the same light as for themselves, you know. They are humans, yes. But imagine living your life creating just for the entertainment of others. That is not a normal thing because the entertainment patterns of human beings tend to change always in demand. So how do you keep up with that demand realistically as a musician, especially when it comes to roots or reggae music, so to speak, because reggae music is not is probably is one of the most famous genres across the world and
Still
one of the most impactful.
I know what I'm saying, but it's still a subgenre though, not a mainstream genre.
it depends on which part of the world it is, you know, because me that's reggae mainstream in certain places in the world, and then in other places in the world now it's like one of the biggest underground music same way. So me that say because them reggae not really get it full credit, you know, because there hasn't been really proper channels to go about so you can get it right full credit, you know. But being a type of genre like that where them heavily depend on touring and these things, and it's not necessarily just income coming in from royalties, it kind of put a dent in the movement of the ones them. And then if you check it now, the way how the elders them come through the thing, them now get focused on channeling that type of habit. So it's like them can't come out of that thing of depending on touring for your living. So imagine if every day now you get up and boy, you might sip up some chalice, smoke some chalice, you might live over this, you might do this, it's like them patterns now for years, them get programmed to the type of pattern they, you know. And now that start take a toll upon them health. And when it start take a toll upon them health, now nobody not see it, you know, until you start hear so enough of the elders them gone or and them are elders, but to me personally, I don't feel like them would I say classify them as old. It's like the ones them gone and certain things probably could have been prevented, but it wasn't prevented because the way how the lifestyle set for years upon years, and then it's like it just start crumbling, you know?
And you brought up a great point in regards to reggae, especially for the older generation, basically being their main and only source of income is touring and dub plates. Everybody don't really get into the dub plate vibe, but a lot of people depend on touring. And, you know, decisions were made or things were done prior where they don't have access to publishing and royalties. It is what it is, right? But in regards to lifestyle now, it's maybe a shock of the people. Just because a man have on locks don't mean he's dealing with Ito, yeah. I think that throw people off, like with the red, gold, and green button of the Selassie in the song. The drinking, the late night drinking, the constant drinking every day fire for decades. The smoking, we gotta put it so some people smoke too much, yeah. Not only is the mind off now, but the body itself is just off and deteriorated. And it's like the late nights fire. The late nights, the constant late nights, and the eating habits. I remember they was telling me stories about Delroy Wilson that this man didn't eat. When he wake up, he want to drink. He just want to drink all day. Drink and sleep. How long that's supposed to last? You know, then we got to factor in too. I think this is what a lot of people don't want to speak about. A lot of it is just from a broken heart. You remember you said earlier in regards to the music changes? Fire, you know how crushing it is for you to be at the top. You can see it too when you're around certain veteran artists. They're still trying to hold on to some starlight when their time is done. You know, and for a lot of them, they can't accept that they're no longer the center of attention. The time has changed. Like you're no longer relevant. That's the thing. Their relevance is done. Artists can't accept that they're no longer relevant, and they're very few artists that can transition through times and through different styles, or what do you want to say, whatever's the end thing, genres of music. You know, so that whole broken heart vibe, and also mental health. People have mental health issues prior, but it's never dealt with. And I think it's crushing for them because they believe that if they get some money or they get some prestige or some ratings from their brethren, all their life problems are going to be solved. And when it's not, and when it's actually magnified, it makes things even worse.
It's a dreadful situation though, because I must say them party of the whole thing is what people don't look into. People mostly look into what them say as the final product. Because just like when you see them man in a studio, you have to treat it like a movie, you know. When they hear a song release, a good song that is. We're not talking about a song where the youth them just go in the studio and press two things and record it and stop and record one verse and stop. And then, you know. But we're talking about the actual musicians them. It's like a movie. I have to still treat it like a movie where the man them go in and put in work for days and you get a final product, and a final product might be a 4 minute, 5 minute, but it's a whole heap of work going on it. So you think about, so if we ever come to the reasoning and we mentioned Robbie Shakespeare earlier, if them man they still do the thing, because even though you are hear them man the name for over 30, 40 years, don't mean so them man that was like old man, you know. It's just that them man that start the thing young. So imagine starting this thing from a younger stage, and then carrying on this thing, and you not really get the fullness where you're supposed to get. And we're not talking about monetary compensation, just monetary compensation. We're talking about the effects we it have and the toll we take on your body. You see me I say? Them thing is a heavy load for carry. So when we think about musicians, we have to really look on it from that type of light, same way. We can't just look on it from one perspective. And then and we really need to emphasize what it means to live your life, for creating for people. Because as we say, expectations of people change. The way how people think change. The way how people listen to music change. So imagine trying over the years to keep up with that particular pattern. That is not a normal pattern because you don't know which direction that pattern is going into. You know, the pattern does tend to take different tools. Sometimes it can be an organized pattern where labels come up and say them want to do this or do that. But for the most part, it's just them what I call it evolution of the way people listen to things and the way people vision things. Because it's not a normal thing, may I tell you. But in regards to the elder directly, Robbie Shakespeare, the man they are great and the man they stand up in the music as a column in the music. And the man they play bass line on some of the greatest tune them ever. And we have to say condolence to the family the same way because we really love and admire them, man, and it's not a normal type of thing. So when we think about it, we have to really tap in our reference and see the role where them man are playing at the thing. You even have elders like Al God, then it's original Black Hole, remember, we just pass on. So you see, it's like a line of a whole heap of the elders, them are pass on. And as me say, we get to the one them are elder, but personally, I feel like it's just a trend taking place where you start see a man reach 60 and them type of thing, they just start see some form of illness a creep up on the man, them, and it's something we really have to look into to try to prevent that so we can try to preserve life more, but it gonna take more than just talking about it. It have to take a reconditioning of how the habits them stay and how we channel ourselves to for certain things, you know, so certain ailments can go reach where it take longer for reach or rather.
And also, the thing is, this kind of correlate with sports too, is that this industry, even though it's a doggy dog industry, collectively they need to create some support system for the artists because what happens now is that because the music thing is so taxing, especially when you're a high demand artist, right? And I just want to go back 1 second. You remember how you were talking about the genre changing? If you're in the industry machine, they will provide you the producers and musicians to kind of make that transition and stay afloat, right? When you're by yourself, Fire, it's borderline impossible to keep making music for each different era of music. You know, so we want to make that clear for those who have a question. Now back to the support system. Yeah, artists need a support system both for their health. And also I think I know the financial thing is there because it's so exploitive, everybody's hustling and they're doing more than what they should do or their body can handle. I witnessed with my own eyes Alton Ellis. I don't know if he overcame cancer or he had cancer at the time, but basically he wasn't supposed to be performing. You know, we were there in New York when he did his last show, and I think he dropped it the next week. I think it was like October 11th, 2017 or something, or 2016 around there, one of those years. But yeah, this man, because he didn't have the rights to his earlier works, this was a source of income. And a next note people don't want to talk about, some of the artists have too much children, yeah. Family too big, too much people to support, too much baby mothers. We don't speak about that aspect because I know Alton Ellis had 40 kids. How much kids family, man? You get what I'm saying? Like artists out there have a lot of kids. Yeah, they may not take, how you gonna take care of 40 kids is not realistic, but you know, those I guess he has access to, he tries to take. That's a lot of money to generate consistently. And remember, a lot of these kids still pushing out their hand when they're 25, 30. It's not like once they're done at 18, they cutting them off. They still asking you for a thing because in their eyes, you're an artist. You're supposed to have money, not knowing that you suffering the same way. Not knowing you suffering the same way like them. Only thing is you have you could get a couple thousand people to applaud you when you go on stage. You know, fire that praise. I'm telling you, in our society, if you're on TV, you're getting praise, and now as followers, they equate that to financial resources, and that's not the case. I want to make sure everyone clear on this. I'm not saying every artist suffering, right? But majority are. If you break down what are their source of income.
And that is a hard pill. That is a hard pill for most people swallow. You know? It sounds like it's supposed to logical, but it's a very hard pill for most people swallow because most people can't equate being famous or having notoriety, but yet still not earning towards to keep up with that particular standard. Most people don't get it because the average person is not known to the public. So when them see somebody who known to the public, them have them as like a chosen few vibes. And when them see the chosen few vibes, it means that you're supposed to excel in every single area. And you're supposed to be an expertise in this area. Like if a man talk about finances in a song and say, hey man, you have your money up, them automatically think, say, oh, the man have money, because him come on TV, him known to the public, while not many is known to the public, and him talk about finances. So guess what? The man know about money. Just as how them say a man talk about power, black power, him talk about some struggle. You automatically equate that to say him know about the struggle, but him not must know about it. It's just a subject matter where him choose to talk about, as we're saying. Remember, most of these artists and musicians live them life, keep up with entertainment standards and the way how people think and the way how people react. So if them have to go find topic where can resonate with the people, so you can equate for them life towards what them are say necessarily just in that song. So me I say, like, if you use my personal experience as an artist, majority of things that me I talk about, it I equate to the way how me live and certain things that we see and the way how we interpret the world. But it's not everybody you can put that towards, because a lot of people just try to ensure say them keep up with the way how the trends change, so to speak. I know we kind of the reason that is more make it clear to is that just a whole heap of components to it where we are talking about. So it's not necessarily just about the ancients them out of reggae music who are drop out. We're talking about patterns over the years, and we're talking about many things are relating towards that and the way how the one them live collectively. You see what I say? So it's not just one thing alone. So it might sound like the reason gone for many different topics, but it's something we're really correlated, because if it never correlated, then you wouldn't have some of the elders them drop out early too, Not saying that the elders them have reason drop out just because of that, but sometimes them thing that have role for playing at them thing,
By a majority of times, you have to say what it is. Yeah. Check it. Next thing too is that back to stress, financial stress, right? I remember Ryan Bailey told me, the man said he thinks he could take the bus, right? Listen to what I'm saying now. Average artists they can take the bus, but due to the insecurity and whatever they want to keep up, they can't take the bus, right? So if financially you're supposed to take the bus, but you can't take the bus now in your mind because you're an artist, you're putting more stress on yourself to go stretch yourself out even more financially to drive. And you just can't drive a car. It gets deeper and deeper for you. You just can't drive a car. You got to drive. I'm going to give somebody a little inside tip that I see with artists. When they're in town, they love finding the one person that have a nice car to drive around with. If you go pick them up in a Honda Civic, they want more on road with the man in the Mercedes Benz just for the image. It's not their car. They didn't rent the car, but it's just the image. And the industry creates it and people create it. So they feel pressure to just, it's sad, fire. That's all I can say, man. It's sad. And any young artists, I do recommend, they probably don't want to hear this too, probably should get a job, yeah, and balance out the thing, especially in these times. You should work and pursue your craft, because therefore you have a consistent form of income. If the music's going good, that goes in also. But just on the history of music and the amount of artists, you may, in your education level, I definitely think you should secure a form of income while you're doing your music to balance it out, because especially if you have a family and everything in these times,
Most ones not really overstand the statement. It almost sound like it's all right to them. It does sound like you tell them say if you let go of who them really is, but it's not that you tell them, because we know people interpret these statements in the fire. Like you could have been so explicit with your statement that them still interpret it short-sighted. Because what one thing is that if you're gonna do your craft and you want to do it to the fullest of your ability, how will you get the scope for that? The studio session costs $50 an hour, and you don't have $50 an hour. Then all your voice a song. Them thing you really want show the youth them, All your voice a song if you don't have a source of income. And so I say, if your voice a song and the song costs X amount of money for mix, how you mix your song?
Well, let me hear you say, Mount.